Hello, it's Ruby, and today I am going to be doing my first ever story time video. This is a video that I promised you back in November. I just mentioned it in passing and I said, would you like to see a story time video about this? And I got so many requests to do it. Pretty much half to 3/4 of all of the comments on that video were, please do this video, please do it, please do it. And so I am going to be telling you this story today. I've never done a story time video before. I'm gonna try and keep it fairly short. Let me know if you like this video, because if you do, I'm happy to do more story time videos in the future. But today I'm going to be telling you about the time that I got a detention. And I actually got this detention on my 3rd day of school, and that wasn't, you know, 3rd day of senior school, 3rd day of prep school. This was my 3rd day of school ever, as in I started school on the Monday when I was 3 years old, and I got a detention on the Wednesday. 3 days. I was 3 years old and I managed to get a detention. Keep in mind that they're going to be pretty lenient with 3-year-olds. Obviously, because you're 3 and you're just starting school, but I somehow still managed to do something so bad that it warranted a detention. But it's a very funny story. If you've never watched any of my videos before, then hi, my name's Ruby, as I said at the beginning of the video. I'm 18 years old and I'm currently in university, and one thing which I prided myself on at school, you know, maybe from age of 7, I really just identified as a bit of a goody two-shoes. I like to follow rules, I like to get good grades, I like to do well in school, and and at school I just wouldn't break rules. but when I was little, I was very, very mischievous, and I was very naughty actually. There definitely has been a bit of a character shift, you might say, from then to now. So basically, I started school when I was 3 years old, which is quite young. So I started in nursery and it was September.
Can you tell the camera what you think of school so far?
No. Why?
Because I can get it on video.
Didn't play with something.
You didn't play with something. Did you go to ballet?
Yeah.
Was it good?
I just did one thing.
What did you do?
Ballet!
So I was 3.5 years old, and basically in our very first music lesson, I don't know what was going through my mind, but I couldn't really sit still as a child. I really wanted to be constantly occupied, and I liked one-on-one attention, so I was kind of used to that with my mum, because she stopped working so that she could look after me full time. And so when I went to school, I'd been completely used to getting this one-on-one attention from my mum. I can't really remember what was going through my head, but I must have been bored, and I must have just not really been enjoying it. We were all sitting in a circle. The teacher was here, and then there were children all around here, and we were passing around instruments, you know, shaking maracas, trying the triangles, and I just got bored. And so when she stood up, so the teacher stood up, turned around to go and put on the music stereo so that she could play some pre-prepared music. I'm so embarrassed by this. I stood up and said to the whole of my class, hey, this is boring. I know, let's escape. So bad. It's like not only was I being naughty myself, but I was encouraging my peers to be bad as well. And so I basically went onto my stomach and I started doing this kind of worm along the floor to the back window, and I stood up, I was dancing, I was saying, come on guys, come on, follow me. And so 3 of my friends, the 3 closest friends that I'd made insofar at school, joined me, and they stood up too, and they started running after me and dancing too, and we were all basically just like clapping our hands and twirling around and just running around and just being really, really, really bad. And the teacher was screaming at us, going, girls, you know, you need to sit down, stop it, you're being so bad, you know, you're gonna get in loads of trouble for this, your parents wouldn't be happy. She's telling us, you know, constantly like, come on girls, come back and sit down. But I wasn't having any of it, obviously. I'm sorry, I feel so bad. This was a long time ago. Remember, I was 3 years old. It was a ground floor window, so it's a ground floor window, and I climbed up onto the window ledge, and the window was open, and I said, I know guys, let's escape out the window. I basically went to jump out of the window, because the playground was just there, I thought, oh well, brilliant idea, I can just jump out of the window and then go and run around the playground for a bit, and get break early, you know. I can't for the life of me recall whether I actually jumped or not. I have a feeling I did, but my parents can't remember whether I did or not. I'm pretty sure I jumped out of that window, and there was this enclosed bit, I remember. So the room was here, and then there was kind of fencing around here, and then there was a gate, and then there was a playground, and I'm pretty sure that I jumped out of this window. Remember, it's like, it wasn't a very big jump, but basically I started running up and down. Pretty sure I started running up and down this enclosed area just around there, the teacher still screaming, and I really can't remember how it was all resolved, but I'm pretty sure that as a result of that, the teacher got fired. Obviously it would have been an accumulation of things, so I don't feel as guilty as I did when I was young, because my mum didn't tell me that. It didn't really occur to me that anything had happened to the teacher. I just didn't see her again. But when I left that school, and when I was 7, my mum told me that the teacher had actually had to leave after that lesson. And I mean, I know, and I felt so guilty. I felt so bad. I just saw it as one of the worst things I'd ever done, and I felt so bad for the teacher, especially because when I was 7 at school, I really loved all of my teachers, and so I felt really bad that I'd actually contributed to, and now I still feel bad, but not to the same extent, because I know that it had to have been multiple things, and I don't know whether she was fired or whether she left on her own accord after this demon child came and disturbed her lesson. That's how I managed to get a detention at the age of 3. I still feel so bad about it. I can't even believe that was me. Actually, I should also probably say what actually my detention entailed. So I think it was on the Thursday or Friday, so the day after, and even worse, it was my friends as well. So I'd obviously been the ringleader, but my friends were punished to the exact same extent as I am, so we all had to do the same thing for the same amount of time. Whilst everyone else had break time and went outside to play in the playground, we had to sit inside and we had to colour in pictures. So it wasn't even, it's probably the most fun detention ever. But keep in mind, we were 3 and we'd been inside colouring pictures all day at school, because that's what you did when you were in nursery. And then all of our friends were outside, and we were sitting there at this table with our crayons, and we had to draw pictures of houses. And I still remember that my friend Olivia was really good at drawing, and she drew this really beautiful little perfect house, and I remember looking at it and thinking, wow, she's so talented, that could be framed, we'd put that up in the house. And then so she said to Miss Alsop, I finished my drawing, and she said, no, you're not finished, because it's not the end of break time. So she got a black crayon and she scribbled all over her drawing, and I remember thinking that was really awful. That just seemed really bad at the time. Well, that's my story time, my first story time. Let me know if you'd like me to do another story time at some point. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you have a productive week.